So, what would you do if you were in an interview and a client was asking you as the bookkeeper, what experience do you have? And you're like, I have no experience. What do I do? You are my first client that I'm trying to get. Instead of freaking out in that situation, I have 5 tips on great ways that you can answer the question, tell me about your previous experience, even if you don't have any. Make sure to check out findpoints.biz to see my free masterclass and checklist. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for a new video every single week. All right, so my first tip is a quick one, and that is to get some experience, which seems counterintuitive. But I have 2 videos that might help you out with this. I have a video all about hacks to gain experience and also how to work for free. In those videos, I have tons of great ideas about how to get that experience. Number 2, rely on a certification or schooling as experience. That is truly experience. So hopefully before you interview your first client, you've got the free ProAdvisor certification. I have a video all about it like this. I also have a video all about tons of different kinds of trainings and certification. The thumbnail looks like that. So just by spending like a weekend doing that ProAdvisor training, taking that exam, you do have a certification in QuickBooks. And no, that does not teach you everything you're ever going to need to know about being a bookkeeper, but you can rely on that as some experience that you have had. You probably at this point know more about QuickBooks than your client does. You guys know I really like the program Bookkeeper Launch, so in that they give you certification, they give you tons of training and hands-on practice. Again, that does count as experience. As well as schooling, if you got your college degree, maybe you took an econ class or a finance class, or you were able to, streamline a spreadsheet and you know how to use Google Docs. Even if you're a high schooler, like you still have a lot of these skills that are very transferable as a bookkeeper. So think about the skills that your client is looking for and what experiences you have had in your life that relate to those. Number 3 is work experience. So I don't know what your work history is, but I'm pretty sure you can draw on some of the skill set and experiences and people skills that you used in a previous job. So again, maybe you did a project where you had to really organize something really well, or you had to streamline a process or create a workflow. Any of these skills are transferable to you as a bookkeeper and will help out your client. So I actually found a resume that I made. I think this was my second paid client, maybe first or second. It's right at the very beginning. And so I didn't have a lot of bookkeeping experience. I had done books for free for a couple friends, so I was able to draw on that experience. And then a trick that I did was I reformatted my resume. So typically I would have a job and then all the skills or projects I worked on under it. But for this one, I read the job description that they wanted for a bookkeeper and some of the skills and tasks that I would be doing in this bookkeeping job. And then I mirrored my resume exactly to what they were wanting. And I broke my experience up into 3 different sections. So it was bookkeeping, attention to detail, and project management. So you can see in the first bullet point, I said proficient in AR, AP invoicing, account reconciliation, and bank fees. So I remember literally I hadn't really heard the terms AR and AP before I saw this job posting, which is just kind of crazy to think about. But I just Googled literally what those meant. And I was like, oh, okay, AP accounts payable. That means paying bills. I know what paying bills is. I know how to create a bill in QuickBooks because I learned that in my ProAdvisor certification. Actually, I didn't even have the ProAdvisor certification at that time, but I kind of knew what paying a bill looked like. So I was able to do that accurately for that client. The second thing says I revamped a receipt organization system for a client. So basically that was my friend who had a big shoebox of receipts and I was able to organize them, I think in a binder or something. And so I did revamp her receipt process. Within the section, I did put my schooling as well. I had taken a class in QuickBooks. So you can see everything in this resume is 100% true, but I was able to highlight my strengths and, present it in a way that would be appealing to the client. And then the other 2 sections, the attention to detail and the project management, for these I pretty much all drew from my days in corporate America. So I worked at the Target headquarters for 5 years before I had kids and became a bookkeeper. But again, my skills do transfer to being a bookkeeper. I had to work in a deadline-driven environment. I had to have attention to detail. I had to have good people skills. I had to manage my time and manage projects. And no, I wasn't reconciling bank accounts, but that still is experience that contributed to me as a person being a good bookkeeper. I do have a super old video that's all about interviewing, and I got really a lot of experience interviewing at the Target headquarters. The thumbnail looks like this. It's, like I said, it's really old, but actually there's some really good tips in there, and I feel like that video doesn't have as many views as a lot of my other ones, but there is great tips within there. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any ideas about what to say or what you've done in the past if you are nervous about not having very much experience. All right, number 4, when you're asked about what experience do you have, you can talk about your mentors that you rely on. So maybe you did sign up for Bookkeeper Launch and you have that amazing email helpline that they will help you with any client questions that you have. So you're like, oh dang, how I can't reconcile this. They will help you. Like, you have a whole team of mentors that are behind you and helping you out. So do check out Bookkeeper Launch if you've never heard of it. I have a link in the description. It is a little spendy, but over the course of your bookkeeping career, you can definitely make that money back very well. And they are super duper thorough. Maybe you're able to make connections with local bookkeepers and you guys can rely on each other and answer each other's questions. Maybe you have the same thing but digitally with people in other parts of the country. There's great Facebook groups you can join. I love The Successful Bookkeeper, and I do have a video you can look up. It's about the best YouTube channels for bookkeepers, and in there I also talk about my favorite Facebook groups. A lot of those Facebook groups are really active and they really do genuinely care and help answer your questions. All right, and number 5, if you're asked about your experience, make sure that you project confidence. I don't want you to go into your interview verbally telling your client like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. You're my first client. I'm so excited to meet you, but I have no experience whatsoever. Like, no. You're not going to lie and say, yes, I've had all of these clients, but you also don't want to emphasize the fact that this is your first client. So I have a couple more videos. You can search for them. I'm not going to make my video editor link a zillion thumbnails, but one of them's imposter syndrome that I talk about a lot. That'll help with your mindset and your confidence, as well as I have one just about interviewing, like what questions to ask potential clients. Thank you guys so much for staying to the end of this video. I really, really appreciate you. If you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe because you made it all the way to the end. So I will talk to you again next week on a new bookkeeper topic. Bye.